There's a long history of Nexus devices being treated as developer-centric products, often at the expense of real-world necessities like battery life or camera quality. When you talked about getting a Nexus phone, the story was about what you would sacrifice in exchange for Google's latest and greatest software. This year, things are significantly different, both from a product and business perspective. The first Nexus smartphone built by Motorola, it's less cheap and cheerful than huge and powerful, a distillation of what Google intends for Nexus's future. That's not a bad thing per se, but a few things get lost in translation. This is the Nexus 6. The largest phone in the Nexus repertoire, the Motorola-built Nexus 6 is built on a solid foundation of the second generation Moto X. It has the same aluminum frame and metal buttons, the same rounded back and finger-friendly rear dimple, and the same weird in a bad way ring flash around the 13-megapixel camera. But in every way, the Nexus 6 is bigger. There's a 6-inch 2560 by 1440 Quad HD AMOLED display on the front, the same technology and resolution as the recently released Samsung Galaxy Note 4. The screen is not outstanding and doesn't reach the Note 4's superlative color accuracy, but it's incredibly sharp, with decent brightness levels and good enough viewing angles that should please the less fastidious of buyers. Google likely didn't want to mess with a good thing here. Just make bigger one of the best phones currently on the market. The 3220 mAh battery provides all-day uptime and then some, and the inbox turbocharger boosts the Nexus 6 some 50% in just over an hour. The AMOLED screen also allows Google to reproduce Motorola's unique Moto Display feature, here called Ambient Display. Using the phone's accelerometer, the screen lights up when it detects movement, displaying the notifications that the lock screen would show when turned on, at a fraction of the power consumption. The new camera sensor, identical to the one in the OnePlus One, is a 13-megapixel part with an f2.0 lens and optical image stabilization. There's a lot of potential here, but Google has wasted some of it with its too simple camera app and by limiting the output. It's possible to capture some incredible photos on the Nexus 6, but low-light performance is underwhelming, and there are some issues with stability on the build we tested. Coming to the rescue is Google's ever-present HDR Plus feature, which improves shots in low light and outdoors. But what brings all the boys to the yard is Lollipop, Google's latest Android version, and a thorough reevaluation of what its customers want. Gone is the utility for its own sake feature set, replaced by a considered set of features inset with a brand new design sensibility. The lock screen notifications are one of many new features to Android 5.0 Lollipop, which attempts to take Google's vision for ubiquitous computing into an area where good design and high utility go hand in hand. In practice, this means that everything not only looks cleaner and runs smoother, but some of the benefits are slow burners waiting to be discovered. Not only are battery improvements inherent to Lollipop thanks to an improved set of APIs called Project Volta, but Google's implemented a number of prioritization features, the ability to shut off your notifications overnight, for example, or to issue a smart lock, a set of trusted devices such as a Bluetooth smartwatch or speaker that allows you to bypass lock screen security without actually sacrificing overall security, since when the device is disconnected, the security gets re-enabled. It's one of those features that you don't know how you lived without once you start using it. And Android 5.0 is full of them. Things like fast account switching and guest mode allow you to give your phone to a friend or family member without letting them pry through your personal possessions. A new Messenger app with these beautiful fluid animations, ones that are all over Lollipop and material design in general, are full of life and give Android 5.0 a sense of movement, something that's been missing from former versions of Android. Third-party developers are also getting on board. The new BuzzFeed app, for example, complies with material design, and it's beautiful and smooth without sacrificing functionality. While all Android versions will benefit from material design elements, it's only Lollipop that's going to benefit from the new animation libraries and improved performance thanks to a new Android runtime, or ART, that makes scrolling much smoother than former versions of Android. Of course, non-Nexus devices will eventually receive an upgrade to Android 5.0, so the software benefits will be short-lived. The question of whether one needs the latest and greatest is a debate old as Android itself, increasingly less relevant over the years as Google updates Play services without carrier or OEM interference. The new Moto X, for example, is slated to receive Lollipop sometime in the next month, and its size is far easier to fit into one's life. Despite its curved glass display, the Nexus 6's size makes it extremely difficult to use with one hand, and that alone will turn off a number of customers. Its price too will be a factor. Beginning at $749 Canadian for the 32GB model and $799 for the 64GB model, it's more than double the price of the cheapest Nexus 5, which Google may or may not continue to sell. Looking at the Nexus 6 in a vacuum, it's obvious the device is a strong contender for the best Android smartphone currently available. But its size, price, and inconsistent camera performance may be enough to convince people to stick with the Note 4 or G3, even if that means missing out on the latest and greatest Android software, at least for a while.